A personal trainer once told me his secret to great sex, and here it is. He'd go for a 5-mile run, he'd come home pumped full of endorphins, he'd jump in the shower, and then he'd get it on with his girlfriend. And according to new research that's been hitting the headlines here in the UK, my personal trainer friend was onto something. Can running help you last longer in bed and overcome premature ejaculation? Now, a team of researchers looked into all the different ways to treat PE without medication. They reviewed food supplements and radiofrequency treatment, different types of relaxation techniques, vibrating gadgets, and even penis surgery. All the things that have been tried to see if they can help men to slow down. And an interesting bit of research from 2017 jumped out. Now, in that study, 35 men who struggled with PE were given dapoxetine, the antidepressant medication that's known to have a delaying effect. Another 35 men were given moderate exercise to do, which is specifically running. And the third group of men were given minimal exercise. They stayed quite sedentary, barely moved during the study. Now, the guys in the dapoxetine group noticed a significant increase in how long they were able to last during sexual intercourse. But here's the thing, the guys in the running group, they lasted longer too. As long, in fact, as the dapoxetine group. And the men in the third group, no medication, barely any exercise, and nothing changed for them in the bedroom. So this study concluded that going running for at least 30 minutes 5 times a week leads to ejaculation delay. Professor Lee Smith, who worked on the review, he puts it like this: the best medicine for avoiding premature ejaculation may well lie in exercise. Now, I'd say that running for 30 minutes 5 times a week, that's quite a commitment, but it is certainly doable for most guys, and it'll have other health benefits. And of course, it's cheaper than medication and dapoxetine too. But what's going on here? How can running make any difference to how long we last in bed? Exercise, cardiovascular exercise, it raises our serotonin levels because it increases our levels of tryptophan in the brain, which is essential for serotonin production. And it reduces those amino acids that get in the way of serotonin. Now, more serotonin crossing the blood-brain barrier directly influences our ejaculation reflex, the time it takes for it to kick in. And SSRI medication, dapoxetine, does the same thing. Running improves our mood, it boosts other feel-good chemicals like dopamine, and we talk about the so-called runner's high. And you get improved blood circulation too. And erections are pretty dependent on blood flow, as we know. Now, some men worry that a lot of running is going to lower their testosterone levels, or it's going to weaken their pelvic floor muscles, or they'll just be too exhausted for sex after all that running. But you'd have to be running way too much for any of that to apply, or just not giving yourself a chance to get fit and build up to it. So how useful is this for men with premature ejaculation? If you already do plenty of exercise and running and you struggle with PE, well, you might be thinking, well, what is it with me then? Do we need to run more or faster or what? Or if you're not an exerciser right now, you might be wondering, how long does it take to start making a difference? Is it worth all the effort? Well, Damiano Pizzol, another researcher on the team and an expert in sexual dysfunctions, puts it like this: physical exercise is a booster for the whole health and for all systems. Endocrinological, metabolic, cardiac, vascular, mental health, which are all involved in sexual function. So the key takeaway is regular exercise, letting your body adapt. You want it to be sufficiently intense, so work with a PT maybe if you haven't done much exercise for a while, just to build up and get fit again. If you're already a runner, are you doing slower, long distance mileage? Maybe mix it up with some sprints or another activity that triggers some physical adaptation. And remember that weightlifting, resistance training, that increases serotonin levels too, just not quite as much as cardio. But it's still really beneficial for our physical and our mental health. Now, if you're anything like me, and you're thinking about my personal trainer friend's advice, you might be thinking, so going for a run just before sex, how long do the benefits last for? What's the best window of time after running? Well, try it as part of your training and see, but we know that the runner's high, those elevated levels of cortisol and the dopamine response, that tends to last for at least 2 hours after exercising. And the effects of dapoxetine medication also tends to wear off 2 to 3 hours after taking the tablet. So it's kind of comparable. It's a similar thing going on here. But the key thing is consistent fitness. It's not really about running on demand before sex. And if you can't run due to bad knees or you just hate running, and I hear you on that, then there are plenty of other exercise options. Running and exercise is not the overnight cure for PE, but it can be a fundamental part of helping ourselves to relax more into sex and into life in general. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful.